Keep prompts short and let the model decide. That has become the prevailing advice for interacting with AI right now. Underneath the hood, modern models have become incredibly sophisticated. They understand human intent and can actually reason through complex logic almost instantly. We used to write massive paragraphs full of formatting tricks and step-by-step guardrails just to get a usable answer. Now, the systems are intuitive enough that those heavy-handed instructions simply get in the way. If your goal is purely efficiency, the days of acting as a technical prompt engineer are over. You give the machine a brief command, and it delivers. But treating an AI like a highly efficient calculator creates a distinct problem for creative work. When you ask the model to design a campaign or write an essay with minimal direction, it gives you back something perfectly competent, yet entirely forgettable. This diagram shows the anatomy of that default output. When left to its own devices, AI will hand you back a document that is exactly these three things: polished, accurate, and well-structured. It is easy to read a bland, robotic draft and blame the machine. We look at the total lack of voice and assume the AI simply isn't smart enough yet to write well. Except that is not an AI failure. That is the machine doing exactly what we asked. The hollow feeling of the final product reveals a flaw in our own process. We forgot that avoiding errors is not the same thing as having an original perspective. Executing a set of instructions requires processing power. Directing a piece of creative work requires a point of view. This chart shows how a language model optimizes decisions. Without explicit human guidance, the system calculates the safest route. It races towards the statistical average, leaving the extreme, bold edges of the curve completely empty to avoid making a mistake. By keeping our requests incredibly brief to save time, we hand over every nuanced decision to that mathematical center. AI decides what facts to highlight, what tone to use, and what message matters. Originality requires friction. It requires taking a stance. You cannot generate a compelling perspective simply by having a machine eliminate all the spelling mistakes. Creativity comes from making deliberate choices. To break away from that generic baseline, human directors have to intervene in 4 specific areas. First, identify the exact message that rises above the noise. Second, determine the specific emotion you want to create. Third, define acceptable trade-offs, sacrificing minor details for bold statements. Finally, inject your unique perspective to make the work entirely yours. Focusing on these 4 choices changes your professional role entirely. You stop trying to control the software like a machine operator, and you start shaping intent like a creative director. This division of labor is the foundation of the AI Gaji framework. It is a mental model designed for navigating creative work alongside intelligent systems. First, you delegate the heavy lifting. Repetitive mechanics, logical structure, factual accuracy, and polish go straight to the automated processing track. But then, you dictate. Emotion, perspective, and strategic trade-offs are placed firmly on the manual track. Human judgment must guide these outcomes. Working with AI does not mean writing endlessly long prompts to force the machine into compliance. It means learning exactly when to delegate the mechanics and when to step in and lead. As models continue to improve in the coming years, they will need even fewer instructions to return a technically solid answer. But because good enough will be instantly available to everyone, the demand for actual human direction will skyrocket. Standing out will require pointing a clear direction against a massive tide of average output. The future of creative work does not belong to those who write the most instructions. It belongs to humans making the decisions that matter and letting the AI amplify them.